Homemade condiments are not only so easy to make, they also taste so much better and are a lot healthier than anything you can buy in the store. In this video, I'm sharing with you our favorite ones that you too can make at home right now. Being German, I'm not only partial to mustard, I also think that German mustard tastes a lot better than French mustard or American mustard. And to get the best flavor, I actually like to grind my mustard seeds, and I'm using brown mustard seeds, which are a lot spicier and pungent, and then the yellow ones in a mixture. And you can, if you make this recipe, decide and determine which of the ratios of the yellow and brown mustard seeds you like best. I'm using my regular coffee grinder. You can use some white vinegar to clean the coffee grinder before you grind the mustard seeds and after, so that you're not transferring any tastes in there. And it's a whole grain mustard, so it's not going to be super smooth. It will look homemade and like a whole grain mustard. Over here, I'm heating up the white wine vinegar that is essential for mustard. And I use one from Italy that has a really good, relatively mellow taste. I also like to weigh my ingredients, and if you don't have an inexpensive kitchen scale, this would be a really good moment to add one to your kitchen. It is so helpful and so useful for a lot of recipes. Then I'm adding sugar. I measure that out, and again, this is one of the things I like about making my own condiments, that you can determine how much sugar you're going to put in there. And once you make the recipe, which I'm linking below, you can then decide if that was sweet enough for you, or if you like it sweeter, and really make it your own recipe. Of course, we need some salt, high quality sea salt. I'm using real salt here. And again, I like to weigh that out. And some turmeric, mostly for color. You don't really taste it so much, but I really like how it brings out the yellow color of the mustard. And here I have some water. There's different methods how you can make mustard at home. I am heating the vinegar up, and I have some water in this cup over here, and once the vinegar is boiling, I am transferring it to this measuring cup with the water, and I'm letting it down to, cooling it down to room temperature. This is pretty important, because if you used boiling vinegar water right over your mustard seeds here, they would turn bitter and they wouldn't make a very good mustard. So that's why I'm stirring the vinegar water here to let it come to pretty much room temperature. It can be warm. I also then like to use a small kitchen food processor to mix everything up. You can do it by hand, but I like that I can just mix it, because we're going to be blending it for quite a few minutes. My vinegar water has cooled down, and I'm simply adding it over the mustard seeds. And then I'm going to blend it for about 5 minutes. You will notice that it starts to thicken after a while, the longer you blend it, and that's the whole purpose of this here. And once I'm ready and the mustard has the right consistency, I'm pouring it into pretty jars, and this makes a little bit more than an 8-ounce jar here. I used a little bit more than the recipe that I'm leaving below, and you really want to leave it for at least 3 days before you taste it, so that the taste has a chance to mellow out. For my next recipe, this is one that we make all the time, the mayonnaise. I like to squeeze a lemon, and I use some salt in here. I use some Dijon mustard. Now, I could use my own mustard, and that would be fabulous. However, the Dijon mustard is pretty smooth and doesn't have the whole grain look. So depending on what you want your mayonnaise to look like, not taste like, you might decide to actually use your homemade mustard. I have an egg in my cup down there, and I like personally to use avocado oil because it's so much more healthy than, for example, canola oil or other seed oils. And for a deeper taste, we like to add a little bit of olive oil. You can make it all avocado oil, or I don't recommend making it all olive oil because it has a pretty strong olive taste. And with my immersion blender, you can see it literally takes less than 2 minutes to make this perfect mayonnaise here. I'm whipping it a little bit longer to incorporate the last bits of oil. And that's it. Once you make it, you will love the taste, and you will be surprised how easy it is to make for all your sandwiches, potato salads, for all your summer barbecues. I have a little sticker on here that I can write down the date that I made the mayonnaise. And the last one here is homemade ketchup, and yes, you can buy that in the store, and yes, you can find organic varieties, but this one will blow your socks off because it is so tasty. I had some chopped onions that I'm adding to a sauce pot with some oil in there, and I'm sauteing the onions until they're translucent, and then I'm adding some garlic. I like tomato paste for this one because it's just so simple, and you can make it any time of year. You don't have to wait for fresh ripe tomatoes. There are recipes where you can make it with fresh tomatoes or canned tomatoes, but I like the tomato paste one the most because it is so accessible, and like I said, it's very inexpensive too. Then I'm adding some spices here, some paprika and some fresh ground pepper, adding some water, and I'm gonna cook that over low-medium heat for a while until everything begins to thicken a little bit. Adding vinegar, and some sugar, and again, you can make it as sweet or not so sweet depending according to your preference. Some salt, giving all that a nice stir, and then I'm going to put it in a smaller measuring cup so I can blend it with my stick blender and it's not going to fly all over the place, which I had before. So trust me, don't make that mistake and have ketchup all over your kitchen. And once you're happy, you can always adjust the taste a little bit. You just add it to a pretty jar and keep it in your refrigerator. Here you go. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.